Okay, folks. The Minister of Tourism, Lindiwe Sisulu, opinion piece now has it's just the talk of the town, the talk of the village, right? Talk of the shack. Everybody's talking about it. She had just, written an opinion piece, and then the acting deputy chief justice held a press conference, cherry picked a part where she was speaking about judges and said that he felt insulted by her. And then, before you know it, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Service, um, Ronald Lamola, the former leader of the ANC Youth League, then wrote an article also zooming in to the revered, the sacred uh, cow, which is our justice system, the judges that we're not supposed to talk about and critique. And then Karen Mon also wrote an article where she says, listen, judges shouldn't respond or reply to opinion pieces and so forth. But if there's any opinion piece that a judge should reply or hold a press conference about, is the article of Minister Sisulu. What else? And then Minister Sisulu also wrote an article in response to Mr. Ronald Lamola. And there was also a professor from, I think it was UJ, also writing an article which criticized the acting Chief Justice Zondo. And so it goes on and on and on. And I can tell you, I have not seen someone sitting down and critiquing the article in total. So it's as if the only article that one has to then reply or respond to, or the parts, the cherry-picked part where Minister Sisulu speak about the justice system, of insulting the justice system. Remember, so in an effect, even when the former President Jacob Zuma, when he was sentenced, it was said that he insulted the judiciary, insulted the judges. In fact, acting Chief Justice Zondo also said that, well, now that's an insult. He said, you know, when somebody I'm just paraphrasing, somebody who just wakes up in the morning and start criticizing the judges, and he was more concerned because for a couple of times he said the High Court, the Supreme Court of Appeal, the Constitutional Court, never the little folks, never the magistrate judges. Well, he just said judges in general, of course, African judges, and you start thinking, what's going on? He did not tackle the issue of how expensive it is for an ordinary person to be able to get the monies in order to pay these expensive lawyers to get justice. They haven't spoken about that. They haven't addressed an issue where the minister was talking about democracy and as to who these laws are being made to. In fact, the minister spoke about the January 6th march in the United States by supporters of Donald Trump to, almost at the Union Building, to Washington, D.C. It was the day in which those supporters were marching and wanted to put pressure onto the Republican Party members to table some sort of a motion where then there will be a debate about the the way in which the voting ballots were handled, especially the ballots which were posted and were harvested, and to say we need a manual counting versus the electronic machines, and do an editing to actually confirm as to whether these elections were fair, because given the statistics along the years in terms of whoever wins which state, number of state first would then eventually be able to get that number, the 270 electoral college number, of which one has to get in order to win. So obviously, one of the other things that people looked at was that how would Minister Sisulu then come up, write an article, and that's where she says the power that be are making it difficult not to make changes. And so people are looking at it and say, but no. You've been in government for a long time. You held powerful, so-called powerful positions. I think she was the Minister of Defense, the Minister of House Affairs, the Minister of I think Land Affairs as well, Home Affairs, and so forth, as well as the National Security, something along that line, and the National Executive Committee member, and so forth. And she was also campaigning for the presidency of the ANC and ultimately of South Africa. So people were saying, why doesn't she make those changes? And the battle also rages when it comes to a contentious issue of the expropriation of the land without compensation, Section 25, basically. Now, you look at it, and politicians are politicians. Now, there are new videos of Ronald Lamola hammering the conservative organizations, I think the Freedom Front, and as well as AfriForum, and saying that there will be a compensation of land, expropriation of land without compensation, whether they like it or not, and so forth. Obviously, now the tune has changed. One would argue and say, hey, you'll never know until when you are in government and in the cabinet, you then be able to now change your tune given what you see now in real life and governing and so forth. Excuses like that, right? And on Ronald Lamola's opinion piece, Ronald Lamola basically says that in fact, there's no need for expropriation of land without compensation, because the section 25 provides for that, as much as which makes it awkward because Ronald Lamola, cabinet minister, Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, a cabinet minister from an ANC government which was hesitant. It was all political talk about taking the land and not compensating, and they knew they wouldn't do that. The EFF introduced that legislation which forced the ANC to join them, and then yes, obviously they are lobbying all over the place. The ANC got pressurized to water it down, and at the end of the day, then the legislation did not pass. So here we are, you having the ANC now. Obviously, ANC's fight is out in the open at the moment. So it's quite amazing what we're seeing that's unfolding now. And like I said, there's just more that we could take down and dissect in the article of Minister Lindiwe Sisulu. And one thing that you could take home with is that there's a huge fight between capitalism, right, or and which is a form of or a mode of economy that the republic is engaged with, and as opposed to the likes and the wishes of the ANC, which is socialism, and their alliance partner, uh, SACP, which is communism, and the EFF, which also espouses communism with their seven cardinal pillars, which are really a photocopy of the 10 tenets of communism by Karl Marx. So I'm still going to be breaking it down further in terms of what Minister Lindiwe Sisulu is going at, and as well as the other faction, obviously, of Ramaphosa is talking about in terms of looking at this article. So I thank you. My name is Mamuji, and thanks for watching the Mamuji Show. I'm out.